You're on the air with Florenza, your podcast destination for authentic conversations with a twist. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and join me on this unique literary journey. Cheers! Dr. Christie Black-Murrell is an accomplished author, counselor, publisher, and speaker from Columbus, Georgia. With over 15 years as a school counselor and 20 years in mental health, she is passionate about social-emotional learning for children and women. Dr. Christie has authored many children's books and affirmation books, focusing on social awareness and positive self-talk. She is dedicated to empowering others through the transformative power of words, and she believes in speaking life and promoting love in all her works. Beyond her professional achievements, she is a devoted wife and mother of two. Please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Christie to the show. Thank you so much, Dr. Christine, for joining me for this episode of On the Air with Florenza. And before I dive right in, because I have so many questions for you, as is my tradition, we are going to toast to a fantastic show. And so I am drinking water from one of my Christmas gifts last year. I think my
Okay.
sister-in-law gave it to me. So for the listeners, it's a really cool little thermos with African American figure with kind of an afro and some pink glasses. And so everyone knows I'm known for my afro and glasses, neither of which I have on today. But, and you
That's
are
okay.
drinking?
I am drinking hazelnut coffee
Perfect.
in my Jammin' Jamaica coffee mug from one of my
Ooh.
trips to Jamaica.
Mm.
Mm.
So cheers. Listen, you
Yes.
have written so many books. We could not even talk about all of them. So I want to dive in and we're going to talk about your newest release. At the time of this recording, it's early January, so we just passed Christmas, which was right about the time that your newest book released, which is Piper Peppermint's Confident Adventures. Listen, I'm the queen of long titles, but I've got to tell you, I bow down to you because I was looking at, we're going to talk about Piper Peppermint, but I was looking at some of the titles. We've got True Friendships Suite, which is the series, and then we've got the Betty Boppins learns about bullying. I am girl. That's my superpower. Listen, so much good stuff. Tell us about yourself and tell us about Piper Peppermint.
Okay. So I guess a little bit about me. I always this is my little short spiel I give when I introduce myself at vending events. So I am a if you're in the Columbus, Georgia area, I'm a local children's book author. I am a counselor by trade and a writer by passion. So all of my books teach lessons, normally social emotional lessons that teach kids cool skills in fun and engaging ways. That is who I am. That is what I do. Um, so I have been writing. I don't know if that's one of the questions you might ask me, so I don't know how deep I should go with this. But I've been writing since I was in high school. My very first publishing was in high school, but it was like in a one of those little poetry contests that
Uh-huh.
every school district does, and I won that. And then my very first book was a collection of poetry, random poems, and that was a long title. You talk about long titles, that was one of them. It was random thoughts of a perplexed, relaxed soul. So yes, very long title. So I am a writer, a counselor, I'm a publisher too, and I'm a mom. I'm a mom and a Christian and a devoted wife. So that is who I am in a nutshell.
Wonderful. And you bring all of that to your children's books, which is phenomenal in a time in which so much focus on children in terms of what they're not getting. I love
Mm-hmm.
that you are bringing light to the equation and you're giving parents, children, educators, caregivers resources and tools to empower the children that are in their lives. So tell us about Piper Peppermint and what is it that a parent, a child will gain from having that book as part of their child's library.
Okay, awesome sauce. So Christmas is my absolute favorite time of the year. So I've been waiting to find a way to segue in a Christmas book. And so finally I get Piper Peppermint. So Piper Peppermint's Confident Adventures, when kids and families, educators, whoever read it, they will walk away with a boost of confidence. That is the goal. So every Piper is a little narrator. So you see her kind of going through her town during the holiday season. So you see all the holiday colors and beautiful things that happen during that time of year. But she's teaching lessons about how confidence is how you can see confidence and how you can be confident. So when they walk away, that's what they will know. They'll see all her cool friends that she introduces you to, and they will walk away feeling like I can do that too. That's the goal. Like walk away, I can do that. I can stand on the stage and juggle because like one of the pages is a little girl. She's juggling at this huge talent show full of all these people, but she's bold and confident, and the words kind of reflect that her bold and her confidence. And so that's kind of the goal of the book.
Nice. How much of you, in terms of any one or two areas, or is it a culmination of all of the everything that Dr. Christine is brought to your publishing? Is it more of the mom side? Is it more of the PhD counselor therapist side? Is it that inner child that just seems like it's never going to grow up and it's the place of your beautiful curiosity? Talk to us about what you bring to your computer as you are typing out these stories.
I bring what I want. I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, but when I first started writing children's books, which was back in 2020, they were, that was 5 years ago. So they were a little bit younger, but I bring books that I want them to read. I bring characters that reflect what they look like. I wanted them
Mm-hmm.
to see little brown faces on covers. I wanted them to know they could be the main character of the story and not just some little kid that's in the back to make the classroom look diverse. No, they can be the star character of the show. So I bring definitely that, and I bring the kid that never grows up. Toys R Us,
Yeah.
I'll always forever be a kid. I am that person. I'm that person as a school counselor. I'm that person as a writer, as a
Uh,
publisher, definitely as a mom.
and the smile gives it away. Your smile is just amazing. Like, and
Well,
it's
thank
like your
you.
whole soul is smiling through that smile. I want to talk to you about some of your other titles and the subjects that they cover, because I think
Okay.
it's important for parents to know that as writers, we're creating books that are, as I said earlier, they're tools that the child can glean from, and it's going to carry
Hmm.
them not just entertainment wise, but it's going to carry them through life. And what I love is that children's books aren't even just for children. Like there are a lot of adults that read children's books because of the simplicity in the storytelling and because
Hmm.
of the innocence of the lessons. And so tell
Absolutely.
the parents, like, rather than me listing off the titles, what are some of the areas the books cover or highlight, and then throw in the titles um, so that the parent knows, hey, if you're interested in this subject, this is the book that you should have, in your child's library, and for educators who are listening as well.
Okay, that's it's perfect because that all of my books are SEL books, which if you're anywhere around the education field right now, you know how social emotional learning or SEL is a big part of our instruction, the way we do all things, right? And it should have been a long time ago because it is the very essence of how kids learn. Like going back to even like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Kids don't learn until their bellies are full. That's our biggest need. Fill the belly first before you can feel the brain. So all of my books teach those lessons. So like for one, One component is self-awareness, and that's probably my biggest one. Helping kids understand who they are, how amazing they are, all the gifts that are within them, how unique they are. So lining them up to understanding that that's those books are my whole series of Do You Know? Because I have a Do You Know for little scholars, which is more geared towards educators because it's about things that kids need to affirm them in the school setting. Then I have a Do You Know powerful words of praise from parent to child. And these are things that you should be speaking over your young person, and they can learn to speak over themselves because it's definitely written for younger children, like early elementary, and even babies. Like I feel like it is our job as parents to kind of like put those things into them early, teach them the skills early. So
Yes.
that's Do You Know for powerful words of praise for parents. But then I get them coloring books. Some kids just like to color. But the affirmations are still there. So
Right.
parents get the opportunity to talk to them about the words, and they get to color the words and see it vividly. And then there's Do You Know 35 days of positive affirmations for girls and for boys. I have one
Nice.
cover that's for girls, one for boys. And the cool thing about that is inside that journal, which is more for upper elementary kids, but inside that journal is a side where they can write
Mm-hmm.
or a side where they can draw. Because not every kid wants to write. Some would rather draw it out. And I give you guided prompts because people say, "Oh, you're upset. Go write in the journal." What do I write?
Yeah.
Well, this gives them a roadmap, makes it easier for them. And then there's Betty Boppins learns about bullying. Bullying is a hot topic right now. And so that one aligns with social awareness. That one aligns with self awareness. That one aligns with relationships, friendship skills, because all of that, understanding who you are, helps to kind of safeguard you as a kid in a school setting. Um, but it teaches what bullying really is so people can stop labeling name calling as bullying. That is, it's not a kind thing, but it's not bullying.
Right. Right.
So helping them to really understand that, and it's written in rhyme. Why not? Easy to remember when it's written in rhyme. And then I give like talking points because it can be a hard topic to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
to help parents to be able to talk, educators to talk about it and explain it. And then there's True Friendship is Sweet. Now we're coming up on Black History Month, and True Friendship is Sweet is about a little brown girl who's a military kid who's traveled all around but never been to the South. But when she visits her grandma for the very first time, she makes a friend in Molly Ann. Molly Ann's family is not so pleased with their friendship. But again, that goes back to social awareness, is
Yeah.
teaching them how to understand that people are all different and unique, and that's what makes us special. And that's what Emerson, the main character, teaches in the story. Just like a bag of Skittles, all those beautiful different colors, but all of them are unique and special. So and then I'm trying to see that's oh, and then Courageous Khalil. There are
Yes.
so many big things to overcome in the world. Yes, he's conquering kindergarten, but like I tell my second graders and third graders who love the story, they have things to overcome too. But
Right.
you can be courageous and bold. And so that one, of course, goes back again, my cornerstone, self-awareness. So, but those, and it's written after my nephew. His name is Khalil. He's not even in kindergarten. He's only 3, but it was written for him nevertheless. So, but those, I write stories to teach kids how powerful they really are. The world is set up to show them that they are, they're not set up to do great things, that they won't do this. And you can't do this. If you don't have this, you won't. Or if you don't look like this, you won't. Yes, you can. Yes, you will. That is the essence of why I write. So,
Nice. At what point in your journey did you realize? I know that you said that you started writing in high school, and I too started with poetry, but it was much earlier than high school. It was in elementary school.
oh,
Um,
wow.
and even with that, even with having that early um, introduction to writing, I really never considered myself a writer until words came to me. At what point did you realize that these stories that you had in your heart and that you were using, right, in your professional and in your occupation as a mom, were supposed to be recorded in a book and not just storytelling and words that you speak? What was that transition like for you?
That's a two-part question. So it was very hard for me to share my notebook. That's what
Mm-hmm.
as a poet, every poet has a notebook,
Yes.
right? And so when I released that very first book, it was like it was hard because my soul was on that paper. And if you received it or not, was you receiving me or not?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a very tough situation, but I never forget. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know the audience, but it was a God moment, and that's the only way I can explain it.
Uh-huh.
Literally, he gave me a scripture that I didn't even know was in the Bible, Jeremiah 30:1, which says, write it down. These words I
Yes.
give you, write them down and put them in a book. I
Yes.
mean, for the dumbest of people, you can get that. Write it down and put it in the book. And so I followed directions. And so since then, I've been writing them down. I've been putting them in a book. And everything, almost everything gives me a story. I tell people, look, you hang around me a little while, you're gonna be in the book.
Yes. Listen, everyone
Everything
knows
is
that.
short.
Fair game.
Yep, you're a fair game. Like you might be my next character.
How do I know you have your children and I know that they're excited, about all things mom. Do they
Hmm.
fully understand that the role that you have as an author and publisher and the work that you do?
They do. They are like my actually it's crazy. I just ended up hiring them this year.
Uh-huh.
So, well, no, not this year, because last year. Because they're at every vending event. They're like my little salespeople. They go to
Yes.
school and tell their teachers, "My mom is an author, and you should bring her to talk to us at school." So they are definitely very aware. Actually, this they've been working on a book, both of them, and so this year, 2025, they'll release their very first books. So yeah, they're very aware.
Congratulations.
They're excited about being authors too. Yeah.
Nice. What inspiration do you have for someone who may be in a similar field and their occupation is assisting children and families and giving these tools, for resources and to strengthen children to become successful adults, and they're not certain how to transition from the role of counselor, therapist, educator to being an author? Like, what would you say to them in encouragement wise to make that transition?
First and foremost, I would say that you've probably already been doing it because as a counselor, you end up, especially when you work with children, you have to be very creative because
Mm-hmm.
you have to find ways to meet them where they are. And so in doing that, oftentimes we come up with stories, we come up with silly songs, we come up with all kinds of games and things to help kids. And so I say, take the things that you've been doing, get you a journal, and just start randomly writing. It may
Mm-hmm.
seem random in the beginning, but in the midst of there's a story because those same kids you're able to help when you sit across from them on the couch and at the chair, those same kids need those stories. They need the lessons that they can take from not just your 30, 40 minutes that you spend with them, but when they go back home. They need to be able to apply those things. They need the tools to apply those things. So it's great that they get it in session, but you're helping them live a life. So I say get your journal, get to writing, and trust what you have is something that the world is waiting for
Nice.
because it truly is.
Of all of the books that you've written, do you have a favorite?
Ooh, that's
It's like
all
asking you which of your kids do you love more?
right. I love them both. I you know a favorite. I can't say I have a favorite. I will say, I guess I could in different genres. When I think about my poetry, my very first one is obviously my baby,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
When I think about my children's books, Do You Know is my favorite because it is definitely it's written like a chicken soup for the soul because
Okay.
there will be more Do You Knows because I want other targeted readers to understand. Like, do you know for athletes? Do you know for high schoolers?
Yeah.
Do you know for new moms? I actually even wrote one for Do you know for expectant mothers.
Yes.
So I just that one I'm the most passionate about because my whole mantra is do you know who you are? And I want you to walk away and say, I know who I am based on what they've just read. So that would have to be my favorite.
Powerful. Where are the listeners able to interact with you and engage with you and just continue to learn about all things Dr. Christine and the work that you're doing?
Okay, so I am everywhere, all over all the socials. But they can follow me on my Instagram, which is author Christie underscore Black-Murrell, or on my Facebook, which is author Christie Morel, my Twitter, author Christie, my TikTok, author Christie, and my website, which is my hub for all things, is cblackexpressions.com. And so that's actually the same as my publishing company, all the things, C Black Expressions. Yeah.
Nice. So, Dr. Christie, we've come to the part of our show that I call One for the Road. Essentially, it is this or that, where I ask you a series of words and choices, and you just pick one that resonates with you. And I'm looking at my list, and when I tell you these are so random, they are so random, but apparently my list decided to give us a list of 3 things. So we could say, oh, we will switch it up for you. This one will be one's gotta go. So as opposed to this or that, I'm going to list 3 things and you tell me which one has to go. All right. Are you
Okay,
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Kit Kat, Snickers, or Milky Way?
Ugh, Milky Way. Gotta
All
go.
day long. Pop, rock, or hip hop?
Rock. Rock can
Okay.
go.
Coffee, tea, or hot chocolate?
Uh, Hot chocolate, I guess, if I had to
Okay.
choose.
If you
Yeah.
had to choose, milk
Yes.
chocolate, dark chocolate, or white chocolate?
Dark chocolate. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And the last one, let's see, mac and cheese, lasagna, or spaghetti?
Oh, now you're not right. Huh. Spaghetti or lasagna. Maybe, maybe lasagna. My husband will be like, what? He loves lasagna. but I love spaghetti and mac and cheese. I mean, I just don't know.
You love
It was
all
a
the
tough choice.
pastas.
Yes, I do, which is not good, but I do love everything bread.
Oh. Well, thank you, Dr. Christie, for joining me. And I am so thrilled
Absolutely.
to have you come back. I know that you have many more books that are going to be birthed through your publishing company. And
Yes.
listen, your children, let's have them on their own show to promote their books. And
Awesome
I would
sauce.
love to interview them. And just so you know, awesome sauce is my favorite saying. So
Mine
the
too.
when you said that, I was like, oh, we're soul sisters. We are connected.
Absolutely.
We're connected. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're
Absolutely. I
welcome.
enjoyed it.
And this wraps up another episode of On the Air with Florenza. You may follow me on all social media platforms under Florenza Lee or via my website at florenza.org. Until next time.